Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast. You know what it's called. Woo! And we got the singing mic. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Skirt, skirt.
You want a little singing mic?
Yeah. Woo, 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 woo. We're ripping with Griffin. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Skirt, skirt. What? Woo. Yeah, yeah. Diamonds, ice, 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 ice. Woo. Yeah, whip it, whip it, whip it. Good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're ripping with Griffin. It's fun. I get silly when I'm around you.
Okay, one last one. And it's Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are. And the singing mic's always here if you need to grab it.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Good, good. I like that.
So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast, Riffin' with Griffin. And one of my favorite people in the whole wide world couldn't make it. So what we did...
How
did you see what I did there?
How dare you?
No.
I guess a real brick wall couldn't make it either. Look at this thing.
Here we go. That's what happens when you bring comedians to your place. You know what? I got to check something real quick. We're going to keep this going. Just keep talking.
What are you checking?
I want to turn this so we can see.
You know, you're the only guy whose podcast I've done who doesn't wear socks or shoes during the
People don't know
episode.
that, Tony.
That is crazy. You think Joe Rogan does that shit? You think he has his little...
First of all, the nonsense that Joe Rogan does on his podcast, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he was just pantsless.
He could be.
He
Actually,
could be.
honestly,
and what
I
would
don't
we
know.
say? What can anyone say to him?
No,
Joe, put some pants on? No one would say shit to him.
Everybody's just like, oh, okay, I guess that's how he does it.
Oh, okay, so you're going to smoke weed? Okay. I guess I have to smoke weed too. You know, that's how it is on this podcast.
I love it.
But I'm glad you're here, man. Welcome. Again, I didn't even say his name. Welcome, Mr. Tony Hinchcliffe. Right?
Thank you. Yep.
Do I say it right? Hinchcliffe?
No, it's Hinchcliffe. It's
Hin. Okay,
like
I always say
inch.
hitch. I put a T on it.
I know. The trick is all black people do that, by the way.
Really?
I'm not kidding.
Really?
It's not a racial...
Hinchcliffe?
It's a racial... I've noticed this. It's a racial subject, but it's not racist. But there's something about black people. They're always like, yo, what up, Hinchcliffe?
Yeah, something hitchy about it.
Even this weekend, I was doing gigs at the Pittsburgh Improv, and they, you know, in their green room,
God.
they do...
Oh, Jesus Christ.
we have a...
This always happens. You know what I mean?
You know, they always write on the chalkboard, welcome to the Improv, you know, Tony Hinchcliffe,
Right.
in the green room. And it was, it said, welcome Tony Hitchcliffe with
God.
Hitch. And I'm like, I'll bet you anything. I got a black waitress. It said, and underneath it said, tonight your waitress is like Malaysia or something like that. I'm
God.
like, oh yeah. And it was.
Now, when that happens and you have a sort of like stereotype thought, do you feel like, well, I knew it? Or is it like, why?
It doesn't even bother me. It's cooler to even notice it. And I only notice that because I hang out with so many black people and I'm always around them. You know what I mean? And it's always like, you know, for a guy that doesn't hang out with black people, they wouldn't even notice that. They wouldn't be like, black people.
It's just a weird name, though.
Yeah, no, it is.
You know, it's like it sucks, especially for like in the social media era.
Yeah.
I mean, people are just like, they can't find you.
I'm doing pretty good, but...
You know what I mean, though.
No, you're right. In fact, a fun fact about my podcast, Kill Tony, is that the first episode, it wasn't even called Kill Tony. It was called Hinchcliffe's Notes. Like a play on like Cliff's Notes. Right.
You
Yeah.
killed that shit fast. That has to
Episode
go.
2, we came back guns a-blazing. I'm changing the name of the show, Kill Tony. So
That's dope.
had to simplify it.
Yeah, I know.
A bunch of people in the hood were looking up Hitchcliffe's Notes.
You should just get that website anyway.
Yeah.
Just get hitchcliffenotes.com.
Yeah.
Fuck,
And it's
some asshole's gonna get it right now.
And it's just all my jokes that work with black people.
It's like Sarah Tiani. I always call her Tiani, but
Yeah.
it's Tiana, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And she says it to me all the time. How come every black person always calls me Tiani?
Yeah.
It looks like that, so you fucking say it.
Like
I don't know.
every black person has a cousin named Tiani.
Yeah, it just sounds like that's what it should be. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
But look, I'm in the game. You know, I went on. Actually, you were the first podcast that I went on that I announced I was having a podcast. You know, and
And you
I always.
came out, and you started with the Kill Tony
I know.
bump.
I always the Kill Tony bump. Yeah, that first 35 people that.
Oh, how dare you?
No, it was. You know, this is a tough. This is a tough thing. You know, you've been doing it for how many years now?
Over 6 years.
You don't have to. You don't want to. You don't want to water these.
Oh, it's okay. No, I'm fine.
Okay, you comfortable?
Something just blew on me from like the ceiling.
Oh no, that's just the air conditioning. Is
Oh,
going.
okay.
And your hair is so
Oh, I
luscious.
see. Yeah.
That it just.
It's just my hair falling.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did it, and so here I am, and it's just like, God, what a road. Look, I'm doing this all by myself. You know, I got to go put the camera. I got to check the camera during the podcast.
It's
My
incredible.
fucking phone is going
You're
off.
sweating bullets.
I know
You're
I'm
just-
sweating. I don't know. I have the AC on. I don't know why. Yeah, maybe I'm nervous that one of the hottest rising young comics in the business
That's
is
right. One of them. One of the top young rising.
one of the top young rising stars is
You
here.
got your little mechanics towel.
I know. I feel like G-Thing. You know, he's like, that's a sweaty motherfucker right there. You know it. No, but I never. Yeah, I don't know why I'm so hot right now. I know now I have one of the hot rising young podcasts in the game.
Yep.
I don't know. Podcasting is just such a weird thing. But you know what I really want to talk to you about is how do you? Let's say your friend, right, has a super hot wife. Okay, and her Instagram profile is just fire. You
Yeah.
know, pictures such as like, and I'll probably put them up here.
No, don't you dare.
Like this one. Oh, and this one. You know,
Yeah.
and then like you know, obviously I'm making reference to like because you're married. Good for you. You had a whirlwind romance and got married, but your wife is just like beautiful. You know,
Thank
and she's such a sweetheart too.
Yeah.
But I forget that this person that I see at the comedy store when she comes and she's like, you know, just normal, just
Yeah.
with her little.
Just a bubbly, nice
Just
girl.
a bubbly, nice girl with an Australian accent, and then I catch myself being a creep on Twitter, not Twitter, Instagram, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh damn, who that? And I'm like, oh shit, that's Tony's wife. That's Tony's wife. That's Tony's wife. Stop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, what would you do? I mean,
I mean,
how is it?
you know, I'll glance at a friend's hot wife's Instagram, but I can't like.
Yeah, what do you do? I'm just saying because this is new because like you're now a young millennial married in this social media era, and this is how it is. How is that being married when everybody has so much access to information about you?
No, really, it's just like one of the silly things is that I don't really care about it at
Yeah,
all. You know what I mean? Like,
Which is why it works.
very rarely is it even a thing.
Oh,
You know
that's
what I
good. That's
mean?
good.
Like it's like on, you know, like there's been a couple jokes made about it on TV, like on like roast battle and stuff. Like, you know, Tony has an
Oh, right.
Australian model wife or whatever. And, you know, so I'll get like, you know, like trolls here and there. Like, are you guys even really married? Like, where's your wife at, dude? Because I don't post pictures like with her. Like my
All the
page
trolls
is
sound
just-
like that.
Yeah. All my page is just, you know, promoting shows.
Yeah.
Because I don't
And she
really.
doesn't even. I never see you on her profile.
Right. We both use our profiles just
Yeah.
strictly for work, and so yeah, you know what I mean. We're not like giving away our public like where we like to hang or chill or anything. I don't like that
Right.
stuff. I don't want anybody
Yeah.
running into me. I've done that before, and like I once posted a story that I was at one of my favorite pizza places in Columbus. I'm like so glad to be here at Adriatico's, and like all these fucking frat boys came in.
Tony.
Dude, we just saw your post, dude. I'm like, wow, this is good to know. I'll
Yeah.
never do this in Los Angeles.
And then you feel like you don't want to feel like an asshole. Like you don't want to feel like I love fans. I really do. And like, you know, coming from like Workaholics and being Montez, you know, it's like I'm talking about just, you know, it's like 1 out of 20. So I'm not like super famous or anything, but like the ones that know Workaholics and love it, they are on top of that shit. And they just come up to you anywhere and everywhere like, oh my God.
Right.
You're my favorite character. You know, they just know all the lines and
Yeah.
you know, it's like you have a moment though where you want to be like,
yeah. No,
but you got to go, hey, it's good to see you.
and what you're going to end up noticing is that the podcast fans they're a little bit more chill, but they're also a little bit more like not scary. Like it's not the right word, but you just are. It's instead of how Montez gets like a whoa Montez, like when you do a lot of podcasts and people listen to you for an hour, hour and a half every single week, whatever, or sometimes 2-3 times a week, then all of a sudden you get like this stare from people. It's just like, it's not like, oh, it's more like, I don't, you probably get this all the time. I don't want to bother, but you know what I mean? It's more like that. So sometimes I wish that it was reversed where I'd have like that, like, whoa,
Tony.
right. But instead I just have people like staring at me, like wanting to say, and they end up usually they do. Cause I'm a nice guy.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to be nice too.
People think assume that I'm like an asshole because of how I am on the show. But
You have a chip on your shoulder. It feels like sometimes it feels like you have a chip on your shoulder. And my question is that a real chip or is it manufactured to push yourself?
no, it's the real deal. It's always been there.
Really?
You know,
Where's it come from? What's it about?
Everything, man. I'm a bastard. You know what I mean? Rough childhood, tough neighborhood I grew up in. You know,
Where'd you grow up?
Youngstown, Ohio.
Oh,
one of the
shit.
crime capitals of the country when I was growing up there. Sure, it still is. But when I was growing up there, it was like the murder capital of America per capita, which basically means the most dangerous neighborhood you could live in.
Right.
And my house was right in the middle of it all. Like, you know, just broken into house all the time, at least once a year.
Was this a predominantly white area that you lived in? The poor white area? Or was it just like poor and it was all the poor?
It was the poor black area.
Oh, wow.
It was a very black neighborhood, which is fun. You know, it got me good at football and basketball at a young age. As ridiculous as that sounds.
Were you like white chocolate when you were playing? Or did they call you like, did you have like a nickname?
No, yeah, it was a little bitch. That's what it was. Hey, little bitch. I'm open.
People did.
Hey, Itchcliff. It's like Itchcliff.
Oh man. So, well, that's okay. So I get it. So you always
And
felt
also
like you had to
how I
fight for
started
everything?
stand up. Like, it's like,
How
you
did
know,
you start
I found
stand-up?
something that I loved and I just went completely all in. Didn't have money, didn't save money beforehand, you know, slept in my car, that whole thing, worked
Oh,
my way
wow.
up at the store, took the hardest possible approach, wanted to get really good instead of just really famous. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I didn't want like some like fast track, like type of like crapola, you know what I mean? I took that real crazy comedy store path, was an employee forever, learned the ins and outs.
Yeah, I
and-
remember those days. I remember
Yep.
seeing you doing that.
Yep.
I remember taking you and Matt to that weird gig up north.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't think you lose that chip. Even like the nice guys that work at the comedy store, 3-4 years in, you start to see them like Anakin Skywalker, like they sort of like turn a paler color.
they
get
want to go kill young Padawan.
Yep. Their eyes get a little bit icy blue, like the Night King from Game of Thrones. They just
Yeah.
sort of like freeze over.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, man.
Well, I think I personally believe that the nice guys, 'cause I consider myself a nice guy. You know, you go through, I think you have that chip, especially at the store, because if you don't ask for what you want or fight for what you want, or, you know, you're going to get passed over. People are not going to,
Oh yeah.
you know, that's what, so I had to deal with Tommy, you
Yep.
know, after being passed by Mitzi, I had to deal with Tommy, and he was just a nightmare to deal with. But like, I don't regret those times because it helped me. I really appreciate that, like that struggle, you know what I mean? He was my enemy, but it was manufactured for me, but it was real. You know, how I felt about my rise.
He was a tough cookie, man.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, he gets a bad rep. And, you know, there's definitely some things he did that were completely wrong. But for the people that he sort of built up, I wouldn't change a thing. I don't necessarily want a talent coordinator that fucking adores me.
Yeah,
you know what I
you're
mean?
saying. I know what you're saying.
Like, make it a little. Who wants that head coach? You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? It's certainly not what fucking Belichick is like before
Yeah.
going to every goddamn Super Bowl. It's fucking tough love. He wants you to get better at absolutely everything. He wants you to be able to throw, catch, run lateral, fucking running back, take a toss. You have to be able to do everything if you want
Yeah.
to be a New England Patriot,
And if
right?
you're not doing it right, you want them to be like, your mama should have never had you with that jokes.
right.
You know, you want it to be pushed.
Like
Yeah.
one of the things, for example, and I was just talking about this the other day because someone was telling me, one of the door guys was telling me the other night that he had this dream that that they were putting names on the wall, right? It was the same day that they put names on the wall. So
Right.
he saw on Instagram or the comedy store, he goes to sleep that night. Next day he's telling me, it's like, I had this dream last night that that Adam, who's the talent coordinator now, of course, for you listeners, that Adam asked me, is there anything from your past that I need to know about you? And he's like, no, nothing. And he's like, all right, well, you're still not passed. And then like this dream like messed with him, and he's telling me about this, and he goes, I think I need to get out of LA, man. I think I need to go to New York or something. I'm like, that's so funny, because that is not how I would interpret that dream at all.
Yeah.
If I had that dream where the talent coordinator is saying, is there anything from your past I need to know about you? I would be dwelling on that for at least 2 hours to start my day of what is something from my past that I don't have a joke about, that I need to make a joke about, that Adam will see, you know what I mean? That the talent coordinator will see. To me, that's his, you know, whatever, the unconscious mind saying, there's a joke that you haven't made from your past that's on the surface. Let me give you another example, because this goes full circle. Because Tommy, who was the talent coordinator that broke us, that I'm talking about, when I was still an employee there and I lived with other employees and whatnot, we all had this apartment with like 5 door guys. Me, Matt Edgar, Sandy Danto, Dan Madonia. It was terrible. Crazy. And I was in the living room. A lot of those guys had their own bedroom, and you'd have to walk through the bedroom to use the bathroom. It was a debacle. Again, that's early on in my starting here. This is 12 years ago. See, we talk about a chip on a shoulder. It's like, if you think I'm letting any of this little bit of success that I have go, you got to be a crazy. So when I walk, you're right. When I walk into the store, that's what you're feeling, is the guy that slept on a couch in his car, on a beanbag, on a futon, on an air mattress. One time I slept on an air mattress that had a hole in it. I was
so you slept on the floor.
Yes.
You slept on a layer of plastic.
And the sad thing is, people don't realize this, is that if you have a hole in your air mattress, you can blow it up, right? With the vacuum thing that pushes the air out, and then you lay on it, and it doesn't like fall down evenly. You fall down in the middle, and the rest closes up like a Venus flytrap around you. So you just end up,
which was symbolic of your situation.
Right. But anyway, one time, Tommy, this is how like, you know, wild he was with his like ways. He told all my buddies, because he's their talent coordinator too, but he would send messages other ways, hoping that it would get back to you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And Tommy had this theory, 100% convinced that I was gay, which I get. You know, I've gotten it my whole life.
I think he thinks that about a lot of people.
Right. I sound sort of feminine. I look sort of feminine.
Keep going.
I get it, right? I was raised by a single mom. I have 2 older sisters. I get it, right? Anyway, so he told my buddies that Tony's gay, and he's convinced of it, and he's never going to pass me until I admit to being gay and talk about it on stage and do jokes about it, about being gay.
Right.
And the guys all told me within like 48 hours separately, like, hey, Tony, I mean, I don't know how to break this to you, but Tommy told me something really crazy. He said that he thinks you're gay, and he's not going to pass you until you would, you know, talk about being gay. He says you need to acknowledge it to finally break through to the other side. So I'm like, oh shit. You know, the first couple days I'm like, fuck this guy. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I have to fuck a dude to fucking get past at the comedies? Because I will. No. And I end up writing a joke about how I look gay. And it was all just broken down into, you know what I mean? That was my gay face joke from way back in the day, which became my opener, which I just rode that momentum throughout sets. And it was a big joke for me for a few years. And when I wrote that joke and started crushing with it right from the top, acknowledging what people were seeing and noticing, Tommy passed me. So it's sort of like one of those roundabout.
Right. Maybe that's what he wanted. But I just think that like, I think he stumbled into that madness. Mm-hmm. I don't always think that was his intention, what was going on. Right. But just like being in that environment and like probably being around Mitzi for as long as he was, he sort of picked up on some things, but didn't understand why they worked. But sometimes he got it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I agree. I mean, it was like I had a chip on my shoulder. I think when for me, the chip was like when I said to myself, fuck this place. I was like, I'm done with dealing with this bullshit. You know, like those Mondays, like, you know, like Frasier would be hosting and you're next, you know, and then all of a sudden, oh, hey, we got to put this. I told this guy, there was one day that happened. I was like, I'm out. Bye. I said, just take me off the list. And I fucking left.
Yeah.
And it was after that soon after that is when I like, it just started to click where it was like, this doesn't mean anything. It's not as important as I'm making it out to be.
Yeah.
You know, and just like, but I have that chip. I always notice that chip on your shoulder too, though.
It keeps me hungry. That's what keeps me right where I am.
But how does
you see me, I don't have big TV credits. I'm not in movies. I don't have any of that. So that chip that's the fucking fire starter right there.
Is that what you want though? Do you want that?
Do I want what? Mainstream
that?
success?
Yes. Do you want mainstream success?
Oh, I mean, of course.
All right.
Sure. I mean, I guess so in a way. It's been a fun ride being sort of underground, filling up venues, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
Selling out big places with people that actually know me and my style and my show and my stand-up and all this.
But is it enough?
No, it's never enough. Are you kidding me?
It's a
We
funny
want to do
thing.
arenas. I want to fly a private jet one day. I want to fly my own goddamn jet, Eric Griffin.
You know, it's the funny thing about it is like, we're talking about this. I had Russell Peters on the podcast, and I kind of felt like he felt the same way about like wanting to get that acceptance from Hollywood and stuff. But talk about selling out arenas and stuff and being filthy rich. You know what I mean? It's like, it's funny how the grass is always greener.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. And I'm sure there's some people out there that are famous, right? That wish they had fans that they didn't hate.
Right.
There's some people out there that, you know, got big breaks or whatever and probably got weird shows and whatever in this and that. Like, look at like old TV sitcom stars, right?
Yeah.
Like old school ones.
Yeah, like from Living Single or something.
Yeah, like, or even like Kramer, right?
Yeah.
Before he did all of his crazy stuff. Like, imagine you're going, you know, Kramer from Seinfeld, and now you're going to see Michael Richards. And it's not Kramer, you know, he probably does something to get the crowd going crazy. Like he probably comes in all weird or something.
Oh, to the mic.
Right,
Yeah. I think he was doing something like that.
He's gotta be. I mean,
He
is
gave
Kramer.
that shit up, right?
Right.
He was like, okay, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Let me sit on my millions. And
But it's like, imagine the dummies that go out and see a sitcom star that they don't know their stand up, if that makes sense. So it goes both ways.
But they still do it. The new stand that right now is like, you know, social media people, you know, YouTubers and people like that people love what they do. It's like, you know, I come from this old school and it's so hard to deal with sometimes, you know. There was that guy that he just had a trouble at JFL. He's like that long hair white dude, country something or other. I think he does a country mama or.
Was that like a year ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was at the Huntsville. Funny Bone, not Funny Bone.
The Stand Up Live.
Stand Up Live
Yeah.
in Huntsville, and like for some reason they had him doing the early show, and I was doing the late show. You know, and it was just like all these people, you know. And they're just like yelling for him to do the bits, and he's just up there doing his thing, and he's doing a meet and greet on the stage, just cutting into my time.
Oof.
You know, it's cutting into my time. There's people in the green room that I don't even know who the fuck these people are. His cousin and like, you know, a special needs dude is in there. I'm like, what's happening right now?
Some Huntsville, Alabama.
He just did, but he just had he didn't care about this brotherhood, like the process, you know, he didn't care about it. It felt to me like, you know, I forgot his name though, but anyway, it don't matter. And
you'll never need to remember it. People like that, you'll never.
So he like ran the light and like, you know, the things going on by my whatever fans are outside waiting to come in. They're giving them drinks outside because they're like, this is, you know,
Oh my God.
you know, and then they ask him about it. They go, hey, can you not do that? And he flips out. The next day does it even longer. You know what I mean? And I'm just thinking to myself, dude, you don't know me, bro.
Right.
Like, you know, it's like, what are you doing? And then the owner calls me and he's like, Eric, I'm so sorry. But in my mind, I was like, you booked this dude.
Right.
Like, are you sorry?
Right.
You know, it's all you care about is this shit.
Yeah.
There's no love for the game anymore. There's no love for the art or the craft or cultivate. We're not in business together anymore. It's just you selling drinks and food and you don't care about anything else. I'm not saying that's not, you know, what you're supposed to do. Some of that has to be a part of it, right? But damn. Can we be in unison with certain things? It was just like, but anyway, those type of guys are they're just out there doing it, man.
Yeah.
And I've been around some of these social media guys and a few years ago, and they all were like, "Oh, can you be in one of my sketches?" and that kind of
Right.
stuff, as if like what I'm doing is like that's going to add some legitimacy to them.
Right.
But cut to now, they know that they're the actual stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all that shit is done. They don't care anymore.
Right.
They don't care about getting on TV. They don't care about doing movies. They're just like they're fine with their podcasts and
Yeah.
their 25 million followers.
Yeah. They're making money off the YouTube ads.
Yeah, they're making money off the
And their
ads. They
live
don't care.
shows suck though. That's the catch, is that people go see them do shows live and then they think that's what a live professional show is like. And that's the part that bothers me, is like
Yeah.
some of these millennials that got hooked on some janky YouTube show now think that that is what it's like to see a live show. Whereas you go see someone that's fucking grinded out a real career and knows how to work everything, if it goes bad or good or whatever, how to do everything.
Do they even want to sit in there for an hour? That's the thing
Right.
too.
Yeah. It's
Not even just an hour. It's like an hour and a half show, like most of the time.
yeah. It's one of those fool me once things when you go see a YouTube star live.
Yeah, that was like Last Comic Standing. I think was the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, because you would go to clubs and you would hear about that. These owners would be like, "Yeah, we did the Last Comic Standing. We paid all these people, and then the next time around, it was like, okay, we're not selling any tickets and stuff like that. What's going on here?"
Yeah.
So it's like a weird, like whatever. I don't know, man. I just
Because the people that what people are watching that Last Comic Standing. So it's like, what quality of person is watching? What channel is that? One of the big three.
Yeah.
And by big three, I mean unwatchable, right? Garbage networks.
that you still want to be on.
Not really. See, that's not really what I want to do. It's like, I don't know. I'm thinking about things.
Yeah, but I could
But it's
totally
not
see you
like-
being a showrunner on some
Nope.
NBC show.
Impossible.
I could see it.
If the offer came in today, there'd be no chance.
You wouldn't do it.
Wouldn't do it.
There's no amount of money that you would do it.
Nope.
Okay, good for you.
Run a show? No way.
Yeah, well, you know,
Absolutely not.
even
No,
even if it was your vision.
no, I would never have a vision on one of those networks, though. That's the
okay.
thing. It's like nothing that goes to commercials for fucking, straight to goddamn Clorox bleach wipes or whatever. Like,
Cut to you reading an ad on your podcast.
yeah, but I like reading the ads on my podcast.
I mean, it's hypocritical.
No, it's not. No, it's not, because that's different. When I
How is it different?
Because to me, reading your own ads, to me, reminds me of one of my original favorite things ever, which was the original Howard Stern show on FM radio. And he would read those ads and they were so, it made no sense. It felt, contrary to who he was, like, a Vermont teddy bear. I got one for my daughter, my wife, my
Yeah,
girlfriend. I got
yeah.
one for everybody. And I'm like, why is he buying teddy bears? And why is he buying a dozen roses from this rose company? Like, what is this?
He was paying bills.
You're damn right. So now when I go straight into it, I love it. It reminds me of that. Whereas like,
Yeah,
janky,
but when the NBC show goes to the Clorox commercial, that's the same thing, but on a grander scale.
now if I was doing the Clorox commercial myself, I'd be down.
So you'd want to for
Alfred
your
Hitchcock.
show.
Remember Alfred Hitchcock used to sort of do his own ads like that. I'd be down for it.
Well, this would be your show. This is how you would do it.
I don't
You
think
would say we never go to commercial break. We stay in the show, but within the show, we do commercials.
Hey, I've pitched this. It goes nowhere. It goes nowhere. I pitched the whole show just commercials. It's just a commercial show. Every once in a while, we take a break, go to a comedy show for,
For like
4
a
minutes.
We go to Vine. We go to Vine for 6 seconds.
Here's some sketches for you. We'll be right back with more commercials.
That's what it feels like anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember. Did you ever audition for Last Comic Standing?
Nope. Not my thing.
Yeah, I went once and I regretted it so much.
Yeah.
I really regretted it just because how they were acting and stuff. And I was like, what am I doing here?
Well, the whole thing was rigged.
I was like, what am I doing
You
here?
know, the whole thing was rigged. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about this on podcasts.
Can we now? Is it
I
some
think
kind
so.
of- are they
I'm
gonna
going to
call
do
us?
it right now on your podcast. You might take the heat for
You
it.
heard it here first. Griffin with Griffin,
Last Comic
breaking news.
Standing was, run by one of the biggest managers in town at the time, and he would have his own clients win. It wasn't voted on. That's a bunch of baloney. And even if it was voted on, the way that they show clips and everything, and I'm sure everybody knows this, they decide they know what you're going to pick. They know what you're going to vote on. It's even like the current presidential shit. They know what they're doing. They know they got to keep Bernie sort of like off to the side, like mention him last. They want they decide. Media decides everything. Media chose Trump.
Well,
They did, and for good reason for them. Their numbers are crazy right now. People can't stop following the hysteria.
I know people.
Not me, but all these buffoons everywhere thinking that the world is ending while the economy's booming.
People love to hate the guy.
I mean,
They say his name all the time. It's like shows like SNL and all the late night shows. They should send him a gift basket every day. Because their ratings are so high because of like just talking about him all the time.
Oh, they're the only reason.
They never mention one of the 185 candidates that are running for the Democrat, but every day they find a way to it's like Trump talk.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Whoever that, they're gonna get smashed. There's just simply no way. You think old man like Joe Biden, he's just barely holding on. Looks like he should be holding like a candlestick in the middle of the night with some sleeping hat or something.
Yeah. Oh, he's like Ebenezer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Bernie's like Ghost of Christmas Past.
Yeah. Elizabeth Warren is just I don't know, Mrs. Claus. The whole thing's beat up.
Hot takes by Tony Hinchcliffe.
My boy Tim Ryan's running though, congressman out of Youngstown, Ohio.
Oh, that's your boy?
Yeah.
Did you know him?
Guy. Yeah, very well.
Oh, you guys woke up? Would you grow up in the same shitty neighborhood?
No, he's a little bit older than me, but I used to bartend for him right before I moved out here. I worked lunches at a little Italian restaurant, and and he just came to Kill Tony a few weeks ago. He was in LA to go to Bill Maher's show and a bunch of cool stuff, and he came, sat in a booth at Kill Tony. It was so cool. Him, his campaign manager, his brother. It was awesome. So if anyone's listening from Iowa or any of the picker states, Tim Ryan, he's a centrist Democrat.
Ooh.
He's like a Democrat that hunts and shit. He would win if people knew anything about candidates. He speaks well. He's cool. He has unbelievably great ideas. He's all about like changing the way people eat. To help the country. Like he's like, enough with this fucking.
Yeah, but if you don't, it doesn't matter. That kind of stuff doesn't matter.
You think that?
No, but I'm saying like Michelle Obama was all about eating right. But because
Michelle Obama, that's like in the back of a magazine somewhere. Like, oh, by the way, Michelle Obama cares about what you eat. But if the president literally was like making, charging fast food places out of the wazoo for taxes.
Yeah, that should be the sin tax right there.
I mean, I'm telling you, absolutely. How do you feel after eating if you ate a Big Mac at 11
Dude,
a.m.?
I used to do that all the time, man.
I know.
It's crazy. We're right on the same page with this, dude. It's like, first of all, I always say like, if you want healthcare, if you want the government to pay for healthcare, I need some restrictions. Okay. Restriction 1, if you smoke, go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Okay. You smoke, fuck you.
Yep.
You don't care about yourself. You don't care about the people around you. Why should we pay for your health care?
I completely agree.
You should get a high dedeductible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is like, if your body fat is at a certain percentage, fuck you too.
Yep.
That's not, I always say, I have jokes about this. It's not Ebola. You didn't get on a bus and a fat girl sneezed and all of a sudden you were like, oh, no, you were eating like a fucking asshole your whole life.
Yep.
And this is why you're fat.
Yep.
And so now you want to get all the benefits of healthcare? No, you have to have a high deductible.
Right.
Going to the gym should be free.
Yep.
That should be on your
like
insurance.
A library.
Yes.
Yep.
Like going to the gym, you should be able to go. That should be, because it's preventative medicine.
Yeah.
Like preventative medicine should be part of the healthcare system. And then we can talk about paying for it. But people just want like, I want to do whatever I want.
Let me give you a great example. I always pick up the tab every time me and the crew are out on the road.
As you should.
We're eating breakfast, lunch, or dinner, right? And the only time that I ever eat McDonald's is if it's very early in the morning. Like I'm talking like it's got to be between, I'm about to get, always only at the airport. I have to be getting ready to get on a plane between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. I won't eat it after 7 a.m. I have to know I'm going right to sleep because I sleep like a baby on airplanes, and I've learned that I have to eat something.
Oh.
Now, the only thing that I'll ever eat from McDonald's for the rest of my life is, for some reason, and they're disgusting. I don't know why I do it. It's still gross.
Egg McMuffin.
No, it's the little breakfast burritos, the little fajita burrito things.
Really?
For some reason, I know it's so weird.
What?
Because they have this gross fajita sauce, and by gross I mean amazing. Like they're so wrong. It's so wrong, and I always get all gassy and disgusting. I have to go to the bathroom before getting on the plane. Anyway. So I'm like, hey guys, we'll go to now my crew that I work with, they're all just pig monsters. They eat anything. I mean, Jeremiah and Red Band and
Yeah.
Joel are human garbage disposals without a
And
doubt.
I don't know how Jeremiah does it. Like, where does he put it? It's just all in his nose. You know what I mean? It just goes.
Jeremiah is one of the freakiest eaters of all
Really?
time. We'll eat a large
might have a
pizza. He'll be
thyroid.
like, "So are you guys like you guys thinking about like going to dinner or something like that?" Like literally, and I'll be like, "Are you? You're not kidding?" Like, well, I mean, if you're hungry, we might have to. We're probably not going to eat again tonight, so we might as well eat a lot now. I'm like, we just ate. You just had anyway. So I get McDonald's and I get it for the crew, and the total's like $18.
Right.
Literally. And I'm like, what is wrong with our society?
Yeah.
To where only when you're eating the shittiest shit is it that affordable. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you get to feel like shit for the rest of the day.
Well, aren't we the only country where the poor people are fat?
Right.
It's
No,
crazy.
No, that's the whole point. Is it's like the food stuff, and they didn't teach me this in Ohio. I always thought California was like weird and hippie and
Yeah.
like, oh, they're so
Foo.
right, exactly. And then you get here and you're like, no, I felt good after drinking that beet juice.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that ginger shot really made me feel good.
Yeah. I just recently started changing my shit up. You know what I mean? Because
It's
I was
energy,
like,
man. And another thing was Rogan really helped me with that. Is it's
Yeah.
like food isn't just meant to be this like mouth helper thing. It's not like supposed to be like this great sensation all the time. Yeah, it should taste good, but you should we should be able to find stuff that we like that tastes good, that gives us energy. It's
Yeah.
about energy. It's not about some reward. Like, it's like,
yeah, that's exactly what we
Yeah.
make it feel like. Well, I mean, I went to this place called Next Health. Because I was getting a little nervous just because of like what's going on with my mom. My mom, is dealing with dementia, and it's hard. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then you read about it and you find out it's like when you have high cholesterol, when you have high blood pressure, low testosterone, and all these kind of things. And you look at it and you go, oh man, maybe you can't totally prevent this from happening, but maybe you could. Obviously, you could be a lot healthier. So that's what I did. I got a blood test and I found out, shit, my vitamin D level was super low.
yeah.
And I was like, oh man, people don't even know these things. This is like,
Right.
so this is like preventative medicine. So like now I'm starting to take these supplements. I'm taking vitamin D, and man, more energy. My hair is luscious up here.
Right.
It was like, all these kinds of things. And then now I got a food program coming, instead of like, ordering Grubhub every day, like as a single guy, spending $40 on a meal and eating all of it.
Right.
Now I'm getting these little portion meals, and I feel better, and I'm starting, I'm slimming down a little bit.
The whole point is feeling better.
Yes,
you know
that's
what
the
I
thing.
mean? And it's like, even slimming down and losing weight, like, yeah, that'll happen, that'll come. But really, it's about mental health. I
Yes,
think
yes,
that
yes.
there is a huge connection between eating shitty and feeling shitty.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in Ohio, I didn't know any difference. So I'm just going to Chipotle every day, and and I like actually I love Chipotle. It's,
I was about to
it's
say,
still one of the things
hold
that's in
on.
the rotation. But like pizza, for example, like it's like only now if I could. By the way, we live this crazy comedian life,
Yeah,
and I like to
yeah.
have fun at night. I smoke a lot of pot. I have a few drinks. I only feel hungover now. I could go. Last night I went crazy at the Comedy Store. Woke up today, 9 a.m., running, right?
Ready to
But
go.
if I eat food before bed, I'm fucked, dude.
It's over.
The whole next day is fucked. And it's like, no one teaches you that in Ohio.
Well,
you know what I mean?
don't even I remember one time.
Oh, don't go to bed hungry. That's what people say. It's like, what? No, go to bed hungry.
Well, yeah. Or don't just eat when you're full. Eat till you're full, But my problem is if it's in front of me, I'll eat it.
Right.
So then I have to have portion control.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So that's why I realized, like,
Portion control.
no, you got to get to singing, Mike Tony.
Oh, portion control. Oh. Is that song from Prince?
No.
It's Pussy Control.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, I do agree with you that.
Imagine how much the country would change. People would be able to work harder, work more, better life, better family, mental health, all of these things if the entire country was aware. Instead, you have McDonald's logos everywhere. Burger King sponsoring the college football.
Then they want to catch themselves like, putting a salad on the menu.
Right. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Why? Why is that the Fiesta Bowl? These things should all have to pay government tax. If you're not healthy, you pay heavy taxes. And on the contrary end, if you're making healthy stuff, you should get tax breaks.
Yeah, like a Tesla.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like if like it should, even for us, like when you go to the supermarket, like if you buy a Tesla, you get a tax break, right? Mm-hmm. So like if you buy all healthy food, it should be like, okay, so this is lower taxed food. But the problem is that's the most expensive food. I mean, the problem really is to eat healthy is expensive. To take care of yourself is expensive. Look, I'm going to this place. It's called Next Health. It's pricey.
Yeah.
It's a certain amount of money a month to like, I go do cryo and I get massages and I think, because it's good I didn't even realize what it did for blood pressure.
Right.
I mean, I realized if I didn't like have the means to do some of these things, if I just lived a regular life, man, I'd probably have diabetes right now and high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and all these kinds of things. And just because, but I've been blessed with a decent life. So that's the pushback, is that we don't make it easy to be healthy in the United States.
And that's my point is that's one of the big things that Tim Ryan, who's just buried behind like 13 candidates, this guy can barely get his mic turned on in the debates and everything, but he smashes every time he gets a chance.
I appreciate what you're doing right now, saying, this is it. I don't know all the candidates. Mm-hmm. I don't know who I'm going to vote for or who I want to vote for, but to learn about one guy, that's great.
Yeah.
So if you're out here right now, you're not sure who you want to vote for, if you're independent, or even if you're a Democrat, but you're not really involved and all you want to do is hate on the president, here's a chance to be like, you know what? Let me find out about this guy.
Right.
Let me go look into this guy and then take that opportunity to start looking into some other people so we can really make a difference. That's how we're really going to make a change, right?
And a centrist Democrat means that he's towards the middle. And this far end, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into politics, but let's just say like stuff's a little wacky over on the far left right now.
I think it's that they're these far they're the same. You could just flip them. They're like a circle and it turns around and it feels like they're the exact same people.
It felt like the right was crazier back in the George W. Bush days. Right? Like it was sort of like, oh, they're extreme, and like Fox News was extreme, right? But now it's sort of like
what we're realizing is they're all the same.
Right.
I always say Rachel Maddow and like Sean Hannity.
Yep.
They're the same.
Right.
They even have the same haircut.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it's like, they make this. I always love watching like.
They both get the same amount of pussy too.
Ha! Hello.
Woo, 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 woo.
Worst woo-woos ever. I don't know, man. I just feel like, we have to like find a way to like get that message out for people to take care of themselves. But it's hard. People don't want to.
Yeah, and that's
and it's easier for some than others. Like I'm older now, so it's like it is hard. But here's the thing: when I went and got that blood test, and so the guy's talking to me, and I loved him too because it was this super gay guy, and he was like really into healthy, and he was just like, we got to get these numbers down. You know what I mean? I was just like, he was so invested in it, and I was like, all right, what do I got to do? Tell me what I got to do. And so like he was telling me about my insulin levels and why I have. He was like, I bet you have cravings, and I was like, I do have these cravings. So once I started to like cut out certain things, I used to drive home and be like, I gotta get a donut.
I was just gonna say, like Jeremiah,
where the fuck is that donut shop at?
Yeah, Jeremiah a couple days ago had an apple fritter, like it's like a sandwich, and I'm just sitting there. I'm driving us, and he's just sitting shotgun, doing nothing, just eating food. Like an apple fritter, like you couldn't. I would.
How old is Jeremiah? Is he still in his 20s, or is he like?
No, I think he's in his early 30s.
Okay, well, it's about to change.
Yeah,
he's gonna wake up one day and be like, "What is that? What is that?"
He did. He put on 30 pounds in 1 month during the weight gain challenge.
Because you guys are so fucking insane with your shit, man. That podcast brotherhood of nonsense. I'm just not in that.
Yeah.
I'm actually not in the crew. You know, I'm really feel
That's,
like
come on, that's not true.
No,
I'm not in the crew.
I feel like you're in there. You're in there with them. I'm in the outskirts. I'm in like if it was an onion, I'm not in the inner layer. I'm not, Segura, and even Andrew Santino's in there now.
Yeah.
Andrew and all these people, they're right there. Rogan's in the center. He's the center of the podcast universe for this the West Coast comedy. You know what I mean? He's there, and I'm just not there.
You're good. You're fine. What episode is this?
This will be like 42 or 43.
You're doing just fine.
I'm not saying
That's exactly.
I'm
on like 370 right now.
I know, but you guys do you have that kind of stuff. You guys are gaining weight together.
Oh, come on. You're doing the same thing over here on your own, all by
God
yourself.
damn it. I walked right into that.
Well, you haven't walked enough into it, obviously.
On fire. Piece of shit.
What is that noise? You on the toilet after
my God.
eating a donut?
I want to thank Tony for coming on. I just kick you out
You
of here.
even got that good fat guy voice going for you.
I'm Ruben Studdard over here.
Woo, 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 woo.
Oh my God. What is up with your woo-woos? You grew up in a black neighborhood and that's your woo-woos? Whoa, 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 whoa. Get your woo-woos right.
Oh my God. I actually had, that was one of my neighbors, Woo Woo Jenkins.
No, it was.
I'm telling you, it was a real black neighborhood. Hey, Woo Woo, get back in the house, Woo Woo.
I want to see the woo-woo life story. He's got his own life story. Oh man, what do you think of the? Let's talk about this now. Like, what do you feel about the state of comedy?
Man,
what's going on? How
far do I want to go today? Let me see.
And we want to thank Hangover Candles. I think I said it right. Hand something candles. The guy's great. But anyway, he made the candles. Go ahead.
So let me see what I want to say here today.
Are you trying to have a measured approach right now?
Yeah, very measured, because there's something interesting happening right now.
No, it's interesting that you say those words because I think that's what's happening in comedy, is that we have to take a measured approach. That's my take on what we've had to do. You can't, it's like these people that say comedy should be offensive and comedy should be this and that. I said, not necessarily.
Right.
Comedy should be thought out and
should be smart.
It should be
balanced.
It should be balanced. Exactly.
Guys like you know what I mean? Being a little bit more light, silly, mixed with people like me, mixed with people like Holtzman, mixed with, you know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody should be doing what they specialize in. But what is interesting to me right now when it comes to comedy is we have now fallen into an interesting time, right? All the movies are remakes. There's no original ideas. I saw a billboard on my way here from a new Men in Black. I don't even know who the two people are on it. It's some
Tessa Thompson and what's his face?
Who's that? Who's Tessa?
Oh, she's a lot. She's done a lot of stuff. She's actually a really great actress.
Yeah, but let me just tell you.
But I get you.
It's like they beat down all these movies. Anyway, let me skip the movies analogy, right? Let's go straight to the comedy thing.
I like the movie because I think what's missing in movies is there's no more raunchy rated R comedies because they're too afraid.
Right.
They're too afraid. You can't because how can you have a raunchy rated R comedy and not have if there's males in it?
Yep.
If it's males, there's got to be titties.
Yep.
There's got to be you're talking about sex. You're talking about gross stuff. You're talking about So they're they're afraid. We can't do that. We can't talk about that. So
and there's also this. Let me tell you something interesting. And this is the first place I'm talking about this.
Here we go. Breaking news.
This is going to be a good conversation because no one else is having this conversation because every white person in the world is afraid to bring this up. But I'll bring this up with you. I think this is perfect.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. There's a thing happening right now where the diversity of things has flipped, right? It has flipped upside down. Now, normally, historically, there's usually what do they call it? A token black guy on a normal show, on not a normal show, but a mostly white show because, I guess it probably used to be mostly white people in America or whatever. I don't know. But now an interesting thing is happening where the tables have completely flipped, right? So let me just give you this example. So I went to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood this past week. And now, of course, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's a Tarantino film. So there's Leo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, there's white actors, blah, 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 blah. Of course, Tarantino can get away with it. It's his 9th film. He's one of the great filmmakers of all time. He can get away with it, whatever. But I'm watching the trailers before the movie. Okay. Now, this is where shit's interesting. Is the first movie was the Harriet Tubman movie. Now, through the trailer, there's only one white guy, and guess who he is? The bad guy, right? The slave master bad guy. I'm gonna get you, lady, and you'll never have another chance again.
During the Harriet Tubman time.
Yes, of course. No, I get that. But these are the movies that are being made.
Okay. Well,
these are the movies that are being made right now. These are the movies that are being promoted.
But every year, though, there is, during a Tarantino movie, I would see you're going to promote,
Hear me out. So that's the first trailer. Okay. The next trailer is Charlie's Angels. So you got 4 women. The trailer is unwatchable.
Yeah.
It's a garbage pile. Now, so we got all women on that one. The white guy that they show is the villain.
Mm-hmm.
That's the white guy on the trailer is a villain. So the white guy on the Harriet Tubman's a villain. The white guy in the Charlie, I swear to God. Mm-hmm. Next trailer is for it's a movie about a black couple. It's the guy from Get Out, right? And they get pulled over by a white cop, and somehow he shoots the cop, and then they're on the run. Is what the trailer's about. Now, guess what the cop was? He was a bad guy. He was harassing them for no reason. And they got in a scuffle. The guy from Get Out shoots him. So now they're on the run. Mm-hmm. Who's that? The white guy is the bad guy.
Uh-huh.
That's 3 trailers in a row. I swear to God, Eric.
Okay.
This is what's happening right now. Most people probably don't even notice these things, but I'm watching it like this.
Name a movie where the white guy's not the villain.
I mean,
Die Hard, villain, white guy. Die Hard 2, villain, white guy. Die Hard 3.
Hear me out.
Terminator.
The other
white
people in that are white guys. Now we're just the bad guy. The hero was a white guy in the movies that you just named.
Right.
Now we're not in it unless we're the bad guy. We can only play the bad guy.
Well, I think that's like some sort of like, you know what, this is what I love. Because what you're talking about right now is like when I see a commercial for an alarm system, okay? It's a commercial for an alarm system for your house, right? And it's like, you need to get like, stay at home safe, and then they have a burglar in the house. It's going to be a white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be a white guy because they don't want to.
You can't have it be a black guy there.
But that's exactly.
Those are the roles we're getting. The bad guy. It's a very interesting time. And another thing I've noticed is that like I looked at the trailer for Gabriel Iglesias' show. Mm-hmm. The one white guy is a chubby redheaded kid. I'm not buying that. I don't even count that as a white guy. That's a redhead. There's redheads and then there's white guys. They're separate. Sorry, Andrew Santino. But that even helps him, right? I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but a big part of Andrew's charisma and the cool shit like a cool thing that grabs you right away is, it's even in his show name. He's a ginger, whiskey ginger. Uh-huh. It's not whiskey brunette. You know what I mean? Anyway, and the weigh-in show, right? Somehow they got another show on Netflix, and I watched that trailer. That little Leave It On trailer thing.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Not a white guy. So now here's my point: is that things have flipped. Not only are we the bad guy and only the bad guy, but there's no requirement to have a token white guy on your show.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's what I'm saying to you.
Okay.
My pushback on that is this. It's like what you're talking about with the examples you gave, it's like Black History Month. Okay? So you're talking about February right now. There's still 11 other months. Like, you need to look on Netflix and take a look at, of the 800 things that are on there, they're mostly white. Every show's white.
But if it is white, it's normally like a fat white chick.
I know, because that's the new diversity choice.
Right.
But you look on Netflix, you look on even network TV, man, it's still predominantly white. So what stands out to you is the shows that you're like, oh, here's Charlie's Angels with like one white girl, and they've made this diversity, the other diversity, all the, it's like, which I don't give a fuck about. Like,
right.
We're not winning because you decided to make Charlie's Angels diverse. Okay. Right. So, and then these other examples, it's just Those are just the outliers, man. The outliers. So I don't think that like all of Hollywood all of a sudden has changed, but they want to show that to make it seem like there's like, oh, look at all the big diversity changes that they're making, but it's really not.
Right. They have.
I just think that those are just a few examples that you gave, but it's not the norm. The norm that this place is still all white.
You believe that?
Yeah, because I've been out. I went out for pilot season,
right?
And I'm going out for these shows, and I'm like, okay, you know, I remember I went out for this show where I was supposed to.
We got to get you some suntan. We got to get you some vitamin D in your system.
I went to this one show, and it was like, I am not a goat farmer from Kentucky. Right. You know what I feel like happens is they write shows. And it's like it might be a white writer and his white friends, and you know, which is I don't have a problem with that at all. I'm not trying to. This ain't no racial thing for me. I'm just saying, you write what you know. You know, and so if you're making a show and it just like if you're making the Tony Hinchcliffe show, I'm gonna get it right from now on. The Tony Hinchcliffe show, and it just so happens that you know all your friends are white because maybe you're in Boston and whatever you want to make the show about. I don't have a problem with that. But what ends up happening is when it goes up the chain, now they're looking at it and they're like, it's all white. Right. Let's audition some people for roles that are not written for the person of color. Right. You know? So then, you know, you're going, that's when I get called. That's when I get called. Hey, you know, they're opening the part up. They're looking for, that's what I always get when I go into auditions. You think they write parts for me? You think there's like, you know, this is a multi-ethnic, you know, that's never been the case. I always have to go for a part and fight for it or like change their mind. I have to change their mind to go from like, you know, and I've just, this has happened a lot. You go out for these things, you see this. So I'm just saying, I get your perspective because you're seeing this because you're noticing that. But I think you're just noticing that because, you know, don't forget about all the other examples where it's not that at all. Because we just kind of let that go. We just kind of like go with the program.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting time, man.
Well, I mean, I think that they're like, it's just like,
how about specials? You could probably admit, let's even do this. You ever look at the lineups for like JFL New Faces?
Oh, not anymore.
Well, let me just tell you,
it's very diverse.
it's you can't even find.
Yeah, but that's what that place is for.
Or the Varieties comics to watch. How about that? You ever look at that?
This guy I'm talking about that was in Huntsville was on that. He was on that show.
Can't remember which year. May have been last year. May have been the year before that. But one of the years I looked into it because I'm like, who the fuck are these people? Who are these people? If I'm in the game, if I'm in the comedy game and I'm at the Comedy Store 4 nights a week and on the road the other 3 nights of the week, right? Filling venues, seeing their line, seeing who they got coming up in town. I'm at the Comedy Store where there's 40 comedians a night in LA. The people from New York that are at the top come to the Comedy Store.
Some of the biggest comics in the world come to the Comedy Store.
So then I'm looking at these variety things and sure. So, well, of course they have to be diverse, right? I get that. I have no problem with that. And I think they do have to certainly meet, not even a quota would be an understatement.
It feels casted.
Right.
What you're trying to say without.
So 50-50. Now they have to be at least 50-50 black and white and male to female, right?
And how does that math even work?
But it's not black and white. It's 50% black, 20% Latino and Latina. You have to have 1 or 2 or 1 or 2. Anyway, it was either last year or the year before. I looked into who the 2 white guys were that made it in, and they were both gay. Outgoingly gay. They talk about being gay, right? So it's like...
So you're basically saying there was no straight white males.
Hello. Ching, 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 ling, 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 ling.
Make sure you turn it on.
Woo. Woo, 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 woo. Riffing with Griffin Nerd. No more straight white males in anything unless you're the motherfucking bad guy.
Okay.
I worked all this time to be a good straight white male, and now the mainstream, it's like... And by the way,
they're still out there.
Netflix isn't breaking anybody anymore. That's not a thing anymore. You know, my special that I made in 2015 got a license for 2 years.
Right.
That was the deal. So I still own it, unlike most Netflix specials where they own it forever and you never get to do anything with it or have it or sell it or anything. And it was a great thing. But then when the 2 years was up, the 2 years was up. And now it's like, now they don't break anybody. There's nothing happening over there. So now nobody's retiring.
There's 500 specials, it seems like there's on there. So they're doing something.
Yeah, they're doing something, but none of them are straight white males. Nate Bargatze is the only one in, probably.
He's got a show. He's got a show coming out.
Oh, yeah?
He's the hero.
On what?
It's like ABC or CBS.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny. What's funny? Is this an irony of this is I was going to audition to be his friend on the show. Mm-hmm. And then I know one of the creators have said, I think his friend probably should be white. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying that's an example. It's out there happening.
I guess so. You're going to end up watching it. It'll be Gerard Carmichael. You're going to be like, God damn it.
No, because he's behind the camera. He's the one making it.
Oh, he is? That's so funny.
See?
He ended up casting himself.
There's the irony in that, right? No, but I get what you're saying. I do feel like there's a pushback. I feel like that the straight white males out there who are not racist, who are not Me Tooing chicks, they're just out here living, trying to survive like everybody else. They're getting lumped in with all of the bad people.
There you go.
And I get that.
That's all I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
And
I feel that way, but see, you extrapolate it further. I feel that way about with Me Too. I feel that way about where it's we're all bad. Mm-hmm. If you're a man, you're bad.
Right.
So, but there's levels to it. So I get what you're saying. You're trying to say hey, can a straight white guy have a show anymore?
Right.
Without people being oh, here we go again. Well, there's people out there who would be hey, you had your time.
Right.
You had 10,000 years, man. You know what I mean?
It's I know.
This is what you did with it. Okay.
That's what they say. And that's the most perhaps racist thing to say. Right. That's racism at its finest. Yes. It's oh, well, you already had your run. It's our turn now. Well, it's all right, let's see how that goes. Keep saying that, people.
We always going to need straight white males?
Of course. What are we talking about here? Are we going to need them? What are you talking about?
Do we need them, Tony?
Are you talking about genocide of the power race right now? Do we need them? Do you think we need
as many of them?
Do you think we need straight black females? More in this when we come back on Riffin' Griffin.
Today's discussion, genocide.
Because it's you can only even say that about straight white males, right?
I know.
Do we really need straight white males? Do we really need gay Latinos on this planet?
Yeah, it has a different ring to it, right?
Right.
It's funny what you're talking about right now is I feel this way about how the difference between men and women, like what women can get away with, what they say about men, especially female comics, the things that they could say about men on stage. It's crazy. So it's the same kind of thing here is what you're saying is it's easy to bash straight white males.
Right.
It's there's no advocate for straight white males. There's nobody's feeling sorry for you motherfuckers. Right. It's just boom, and then so you're feeling a little sensitive. You and your feelings about it.
It's one of those things to where I'm just, for example, I like having a big successful podcast, whatever. We're doing great on the road. We take it out and everybody has fun. It's all about comedy, this and that. And it's great and it's doing great. But it's I'd love for other things to sort of fall into place.
Like what?
Let me give you an example. When I started writing on the Comedy Central roast, 8-9 years ago or whatever, they were breaking people through. Yeah. Right? Whitney Cummings. Cummings and Anthony Jeselnik both came out on the Trump roast. That was their debut, really, to America.
Right.
Nobody really had any idea who they were when that came out. Amy Schumer, the next year, was on. These people all came originally from the writing room onto the roast. Now, I got in the writer's room. I knew I was already, on a path to becoming a decent stand-up comedian. I was doing the right work, doing a lot of spots. They're like, I'm thinking about what would I have to do? Oh, maybe I should, write well, first of all, to really make an impact with the execs and the EPs. They'll see how You know what I mean? When
That's like
a
that old-
percentage of the jokes that make it into the show are from me, that they're gonna know like that
Right,
had to be
right.
what Jeselnik and Whitney and Schumer did, right? That's what.
That's what I was about to say is not to cut you off, but what I'm going to say is like, so in your mind, you're thinking, because it's the old school mentality. If I put in the work and I do my time, I'm going to get my chance.
Yep. And I did everything else. You know what I mean? I made my own special. I got my social media following up. I have a loyal base out there
Yeah.
that
People love you.
listens to me for an hour and a half every single week, hosts this chaotic show, right? You can't beat that connection. I mean, unless you're Joe Rogan, who's doing, 4 3-hour episodes a week, really just talking. So then when
Yeah.
he comes to your town, you have to go to an arena and see him, right? Like it's just the more, people listen to us sometimes more than they talk to their mother or father in a week. Think about that. An hour a week.
I have a friend of mine that says to me all the time, like, I'll talk about things on this, and they'll hit me up and be like, bro, I didn't even know that about you.
Right.
I didn't know, it's like I'm revealing information about myself, like in this environment more than I would in like in a regular conversation. So it's like, it's really weird, but I get what you're saying. So you're on the roast.
And you're writing and now it's what? Now it's like this one coming up is like would be my 7th roast that I'm writing on.
Oh, wow.
And here we go. We have everything there. And Comedy Central's not some fucking sorry, but it's not, dominating. It doesn't have the monopoly on comedy like it once had.
Yeah.
So now it's like, and so who gets that spot, right? We know Jeff Ross is going to be on it, the Roastmaster General, executive producer, right? Sure, of course. He's the roast master. So he's going to be on it. And so now it's just it, right? So they gave it to Pete Davidson 2 years ago because he's on SNL. Why is he on SNL? He's 20. At the time, he was 21 or 22. Why? Not because he's funny. No, because his dad died in 9/11. So they can rationalize him being the young, straight, white male on SNL. You can't talk bad about him. His dad died in 9/11. That's the whole story. That's his entire story. That's the whole thing. If you're wondering, like, oh, what's your favorite Pete Davidson thing in SNL history?
I don't watch SNL.
You're right. You're
Yeah,
that's exactly my point.
I stopped watching it
So,
years ago.
who like what? It's like who.
Well, he dated Ariana Grande.
But that was before. This was before. He got Ariana Grande because he was booked on a fucking roast. Could have been me.
That was the Bieber roast.
Yeah.
I wanted to be on the Bieber roast.
I know. So did I.
I'm a
dude.
real fan of Bieber.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got the acoustic album. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. He's got your album too.
Yeah, he himself was asking me about being on the roast. He said, "Yeah, you should be on my roast." He said that to me, Bieber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was like after talking to Scooter, and it was just like I knew it wasn't going to happen. Nobody knows me. It would have been like then the whole thing would have been about like why is this nobody here and all that kind of
That's
shit.
the whole thing, and that's great.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
you want to be. You want
Right.
to be the nobody.
It's that everybody's
that's how you
talking
become
about
the somebody.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of it being lame, jokes about SNL, it could be lame jokes about your podcast. That'd be great. You know what I mean?
Well, at the time, I didn't have the podcast.
Right. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
And so like,
So then what happened? You feel passed over?
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now if there's a straight white male on it, it's a legend. It's a freak. It's not
Not some regular dude.
Right.
Well, okay. Well, my pushback on that is like I always say this. I would love to be mediocre on Netflix. Because it seems to be that like that's all it takes for a lot of like straight white males. You know?
who?
Well, I'm not going to go calling people
Come
out.
on.
You know what I mean? But it's just like there's a lot. But first of all, you think there's like every special that comes out on Netflix is great?
No.
No, but there's guys that they give these people opportunities.
I guess you're
like
right.
if to be a person of color on Netflix, you got to be ginormous. You have to be the biggest guy in comedy. You got to be Chappelle, Chris Rock. You got to be these guys, or they're not just like they're not giving like Tony Baker a shot. You know why not? He's just as funny as a lot of the white guys that are on, and even white girls that are on Netflix.
I mean, I agree with that.
So I just like, I mean, so that's my pushback on that is like, yeah. So if you're saying that straight white males now have to work harder and be more dynamic at what they do to get over, welcome to the party.
I mean, that's always how it is.
You know what I mean?
I think we're seeing two different sides of this.
No, of course, yes. I'm seeing your.
And who they pick as their straight white males is, I mean, other than a few exceptions, like, Chris D'Elia is amazing.
Yeah.
He's a monster
Freak of
comedian.
nature.
Tom Segura, unbelievable, amazing. Rogan, right? These people are freaks.
But then Rogan doesn't want to do that kind of shit.
What?
He's not going to be on a roast.
No, I'm talking about Netflix specials.
Okay, got you.
Talking about like who they really have in their rotation, basically once a year, right? Bill Burr, monster, sure.
Established.
Right. But, and I'm saying the ones that
if we opened up Netflix
some of the
right
ones,
now and looked at the specials, there'd be a lot of, who's that?
Really?
Yeah, who's this dude?
Really?
How'd this guy?
You think we don't know them?
Nah, I think so. I've already done this. I've already been like, because I'm bitter like that.
Really?
I remember the year I didn't get a half hour from Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Being on, at the time, their hit show.
Right.
And I was passed over to, I couldn't get a half hour. I watched every fucking episode that year.
Wow.
And I'm at home by myself like, who the fuck's that?
Right.
Just a bitter bitch at
Right.
home like, who's that?
Right.
Oh, this the dude? Why is he on there? And then, when I finally got it, I was like, at that point, I couldn't even enjoy it because I was so, that chip on my shoulder was like keeping my happiness down too. So
Yeah.
I've gotten past all that kind of stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like, like I say, it is what it is.
Right. No, it's just
It's their choice, you
Yeah.
know? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like Netflix isn't government owned. Okay. It's not a government property. It's a private business, and they can decide who the fuck they want on their thing. They have their algorithm, and if their algorithm says we want this kind of people, if they have an algorithm on Netflix and it says the more white people we have on our network, the more people subscribe, then that's what they're gonna do. So I it's a private business. It's like, remember that thing with Monique? She was mad that they didn't
Right.
give her Amy Schumer money. I was like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah, that was psychotic.
Are you out of your mind? You should, like, all these comics getting specials, they should actually pay Netflix.
I agree. I actually agree with you on that.
You should pay Netflix because they're putting you in front of 130 million people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just did that Sandler movie.
Yeah.
And it's like amazing the reach. So many people hit me up like, oh man, I saw you in that movie. I was like, wow. Imagine if you had a special that they promoted. If you have a special and they decide I'm going to promote your special, it could be life changing.
Oh, yeah.
If it's good.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, take that shot.
Or if they make it good. Another thing that they do now is a lot of editing tricks. I've noticed. You leave that space for laughter and they fucking add that shit right in there.
It's a television show.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be for entertainment.
Right.
I have no problem with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Punching up the
Yeah.
audience.
I have no problem. It's a television show.
What if the material's absolute garbage, though?
Check it out.
Yeah.
It's a television show.
All right.
That's the CGI that's needed for people at home who are paying the $15 a month. They want to enjoy this. You're speaking as a comic, as a student of the game, as a person that is like caring for the art form. You need to tell people, go watch it live. Because that's what I say. Go watch it live. Because that shit you see in specials and stuff, that's not how it really is.
Right.
It's not how it really is. And you'll enjoy yourself 1,000 times more. Like, go see Chris D'Elia live. You're going to experience something, and you might see something that you'll never see again.
Yeah.
That shit that's supposed to live on the TV forever, it has to be pristine.
Yeah.
It has to be a certain way, and just... I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But I also get the other side that people are like, you're a purist.
It also I guess one of the things that concerns me about that is I want the people on the line to become a stand-up fan. I want people to want to see a live show. And I feel like if they're watching a special and they hear that astounding laughter and they don't think it's funny, that they'll be like, I just don't really think stand-up comedy's for me. Like, I'm not laughing as hard as those people. Like,
Here's the thing, though. But see, what you're talking about is like, it's like putting rims on a BMW. Okay, it's the factory model's still pretty good.
Right.
Okay, so I just put some rims in a tent. That doesn't mean that like that changed it so much. No, what you're talking about is when a Toyota comes off the lot and they try to put a BMW kit on it. Okay, that's when you're like, this isn't working.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, okay, but I'm not talking about that.
I'm talking about the bad ones.
Yeah,
I'm talking about The people that they're trying to shoehorn in or give a second or third special to a little bit too quick sometimes.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing too. This is a change in times.
Yeah.
Specials now are just content. Like that's comedians' YouTube videos. That's their like, this is our content. We got to put it out. Put another one out. Put another one out. It's just we have to change the paradigm, the how we think about what specials are supposed to be. It's just comedy videos. It's just here's people's material that they worked on this year, and they put that out for you, and then I'm going to work on something else. It's not necessarily the word. The word special is what confuses people now. Right. We need to almost take that out of it. You know, we need to find a new name for it.
Yeah.
Stop calling it special.
You're right. They blew that when they made the 15-minute specials and they told everybody to promote it and call it a special.
Yeah, yeah. This is like, you got people, you know, you're bringing somebody up. Yeah, I had a Netflix special. Did you?
It's a 15-minute special?
Yeah. I keep waiting for the 100 5-minute specials coming out tomorrow at midnight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to be like, fuck. But they need to change. Look, remember when Carl's Jr. had the $6 burger? It was called the $6 burger, but it was only like $4. But when you hear that in your head, you go, so then you're thinking, wow, I'm getting a deal because I'm getting a $6 burger for only $4.
Right.
No, it's just a name.
Yeah.
It's not worth $6.
Right.
So that's what I feel about comedy specials. Yeah. They're not special.
Yeah.
It's just a name like Charmin or, you know,
Bounty.
Yeah. You know, Kleenex.
Yeah.
It's just a title for it that we've now, it's in our head and we go, oh, you have your special? You know, now I like when people say, oh, I'm doing my hour.
Yeah.
I'm doing my hour on whatever. That's somebody that understands.
Right.
Your shit ain't special.
Right. Running an hour.
Yeah, I'm just running my hour on Netflix for people to see.
Yeah.
You know, like it's so hard to capture live stand-up comedy. That magic that happens. You're at the comedy store and you like, you know, it's like at 10 o'clock, 10:30, you know, you go up and like you have to go up after like whoever, you know, the crowd is on fire or something's happening in the crowd and, you know, you go up and you have one of these like magical moments. That shit can't be captured.
Right.
You know, and occasionally it is. Occasionally somebody puts together something that is like, it's explosive for them. Like Ali Wong. Her first special, there was something about it that it resonated with people and it made her a star. It happens to some people, you know what I mean? But like I can think of like 5 of those in my entire life. That, you know, Chris Rock has one of them, but then some of his other specials, I was like,
right.
This great, you know, good hour. But it wasn't like, wow, I just saw something special.
Right.
That rarely happens.
Yeah.
And even with the greats of these $20 million specials that we just saw on Netflix.
What about Eddie Murphy? What do you think? I mean, like this guy.
I think that Eddie Murphy not doing stand-up for a long time, this is what I think in my head. I just feel like he has such a profound respect for stand-up comedy. I just think that he has this thing where he's like, you know, he's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go, because he was like so great. And even if he wasn't great, we made him great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you look at Delirious now, it doesn't stand up. It's not, I just go, oh my God. Because so many people have like hacked these jokes for 30 years that when you look at the original, you're like, what, you know.
Right.
But what I'm saying is like, he's still revered as one of the great stand-ups of all time, performers. And so to live up to that, it's like, fuck it. I don't want to.
I mean, what could he possibly do?
But here's the thing though, like I'm interested to see if he's serious about it. Don't you want to see him in the OR at like 11:30 working out like about his maid?
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever the fuck he's going to talk about, going to Coffee Bean or like dating, being rich or like whatever.
I just can't picture it.
I know, but okay, you know what? And I think he knows that.
Right.
I think that he's like, damn. I think he thinks the same shit. What am I going to talk about?
Right.
I'm not even in touch with the world anymore.
How could he
I never
be?
leave my house. I go to Coffee Bean and I go home.
Right.
I wear sunglasses
Does
on
he
TV
go to
shows.
Coffee Bean?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, there was that one Coffee Bean he's always at.
Which one?
In the Valley.
Really?
Yeah. But people always make jokes about it. Hey, which Coffee Bean do you want to meet at? You know, the one on whatever or Eddie Murphy?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, he had a famous Coffee Bean he always went to. So I'm just saying he's not in regular society anymore. He was just one of these. He's such an icon of comedy, right? You know, he's up there. To me, it's like Bob Hope, Eddie Murphy. That's how you would talk about it.
Right.
And now he wants to come back and do the thing that he's, I mean, aren't you, I'm fascinated. Even if he bombs terribly, I want to see what looks like.
It's definitely going, I would, yes, I definitely want to see what it looks like.
You know what I think he should do? This is my honest opinion. If I ever met him, I would tell him this. Mm-hmm. He should get roasted. It would change everything. Mm-hmm. Like he should allow himself to, and then let him say anything.
Yeah.
Like the transgender, all that shit. Mm-hmm. Let him go buck wild on him. Mm-hmm. And then have his opportunity to go up and roll. Because the people that would be on the panel, it's going to be Arsenio, Chappelle, Chris Rock, you know, all the dudes from SNL, Dana Carvey, and all these guys are going to be the ones that are going to do it, right?
Right.
And then have him have his time. That's how I would want to come back, you know?
That'd be great for him.
It would be tremendous for him.
Roasts are great for people.
Yeah, man.
People get to see people laughing at themselves, and it's a big deal.
Especially all the rumors and things they've heard about. If he just allows it, just like, go ahead, say whatever you want.
Yep.
You know?
And it really helps people be accepted by the mainstream.
Yes.
Don't forget, you know,
that's why Donald Trump is president.
10 years ago, it was the roast of Donald Trump.
Yeah,
and
man.
at the end of it, people don't even remember this. At the end of it, red, white, and blue confetti comes from the ceiling. The American flag, as the backdrop pops up, a flag waving in the background. All of these seeds were planted a long time ago.
Damn.
Yep. The chair that he sits in on The Apprentice is basically the, you know, like the main White House head of table chair.
I know.
All
like the
of
Oval
these
Office.
things. And the press conference table, exactly. You know.
I've talked about this before, but I remember I saw Chris Rock right before he was doing the Oscars, you know, and he was preparing. So he was going to the clubs. Mm-hmm. He was on stage, and I'll never forget this. He's like, Donald Trump's going to win. And everybody's like, boo, you know, they're being their thing. He's like, hey, Donald Trump, do you realize how famous Donald Trump is? This is how he was talking about it. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump is so famous. Like Ronald Reagan won because he was famous. He was trying to compare. Do you know how much more famous Donald Trump is than Ronald Reagan? Right. He was like, Ronald Reagan was like Eric Roberts. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
And then you think about it, it's like, damn, the dude is like, we really love fame. We love like what we think we know about people, right?
I tried to get Joe Rogan to run.
Questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
You know?
Not in 2020, but I tried to get him in 2016. I think he would have been able to beat Trump. I truly believe that.
Oh my God.
You FaceTiming somebody?
I'm calling my ex-girlfriend by accident.
Oh my God. That's going to be awkward.
I know, and I don't know how to... This is crazy. I can't talk right now. I did this by accident. Sorry, okay? I'm doing my podcast.
That is...
You're actually on my podcast. I got to go.
Hilarious.
All right, bye. I'm going to cut that out. And...
You got to keep that in.
I don't know. Maybe.
I like it.
Okay. Rogan couldn't be president.
He could have been. He could have won this 2016 election.
Do you think Rogan could have won? Do you think he's that? I don't think he's that famous. I think that I think that it's funny about podcasting is it's more of a specialized audience. Mm-hmm. It's not true fame. Okay, because it's even if the audience is as large and he has the largest, there's still a baby and a dog on the internet that dwarfs anything Rogan can do. You know what I mean? I mean, there's dudes out there that are playing basketball in Venice Beach. Okay, yeah. They're just out. They just go a white guy in jeans and he plays with this guy. The guy's got 1 million followers and it's growing every day.
But he's playing basketball. No. And the video's short and the dog video's short.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of people out there that like have like equivalent type of following and fame. On YouTube, but it doesn't translate to the American people, man. It doesn't. Right. You know, the people that more people watch NCIS, they're still watching that show, okay? A show that gets like 10 million viewers a week, You know, they're still more popular, more famous things than podcasting.
Sure, of course.
We're letting this get to our heads, but it's not that important.
I guess so.
You know what I mean?
All right. I mean, okay.
You don't agree?
You're comparing Rogan to basketball videos on YouTube.
No. I'm talking about the reach of YouTube. I'm not talking about. It's not a comparison. I'm just saying.
I know. I'm just saying.
Like that's just you know.
I think that if he was in there, he would stir things up and he would be more of a truth bomb layer. Like I think one of the things that Trump does is he says something and then the media cuts out part of what he says and then they say the one thing that he said. You know what I mean? Like grab women by the pussy, for example. Mm-hmm. Like it's like he didn't say he grabs women by the pussy. He was saying that when the whole quote, like there's a whole beginning of that paragraph that they cut out. You know, he's talking to some other famous dude about being famous. Like, yeah, when you're famous, you know, these chicks over here are crazy, you know, but when you're famous, they'll let you do anything. You know what I mean? They'll let you grab them by the pussy. He's not saying he does it.
It's like,
and he's right. Andy's right.
I always thought of it like a euphemism. Right. It's like if I said, you know, man, I hit it last night.
Yeah.
Then they took that. They'd be like, he's hitting people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it's like even a few days ago, he's like, you know, Baltimore is a rat infested city. And people are like, oh my God, how could he say that about a city in America? Have you been to Baltimore lately? It's fucking disgusting. And it's like when the media blows this stuff up, people that have common sense, you know what I mean? They're taking these people the other direction. Well, people like me that hear that and go, yeah, Baltimore is a shithole. And him saying that might actually help them get funding or get their shit together or do something. How it's been going isn't.
I get what you're saying, and I don't necessarily disagree, but my problem with any president that can't, I don't have a problem with a strong president that has a strong hand. I don't mind a president that's like, yo, NATO, pay your bills.
Right.
Yo, China, yeah, you got to pay some tariffs.
Yep.
I don't mind like somebody that has that, but at the same time, lead all of us. You know, if you polarize people,
right,
then I'm not with you.
Yeah.
So all the good that he might be doing with the economy and whatever choices that he's made to make America seem strong, at the same time, he's alienating some of his own people and putting us against each other. And that part of it, I just don't like.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like it in any president. I don't care who it is. Clinton, right. Obama, right. Bush is. Like,
again, I think the media pushes a lot of that storyline forward, though. A lot of it. I know,
and he does nothing to correct it. And he could.
I think he does.
No, I don't think so. I think that this is calculated.
He tried to get ASAP Rocky out of prison in Sweden.
I think it's all calculated, you know? Like sure. I remember seeing a Trevor Noah show and he was showing Trump and Trump's at this rally.
Yeah.
And this is how he's talking. He goes, you know, they told me to say drain the swamp. I didn't like it at first. This is Trump talking.
Yeah.
He goes, I didn't like it, but they said it would work. And he was like, okay. You know, and the crowd, you can hear the crowd kind of going, wait, what? It's almost like he was letting them know, oh, I got over on you too.
Right.
Like I just feel he's so arrogant that he's like, yeah, I want you to know that I fooled you.
Right.
I beat you. He's actually a fantastic politician.
Yeah.
You know, but like I could campaign to be the lion tamer at the circus. Uh-huh. You know, I bet you I can win. I could be like, yo, it's Montez from Workaholics. Riffing with Griffin. I could be on there, lion tamer. Whoa, 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 give me them lions. You know, I could probably win. Yeah. But then, you know what I have to do after that when I win?
You got to tame the lions.
I got to tame the lions.
Oh, shit.
And that's when I'm like, I'm not qualified for this. That's what this motherfucker just did. You know, I don't think he's a bad dude, but he's just not qualified to be president. It's a bigger job than he's able to do. And look, so many people quit his cabinet, all this stuff that's going on. He could, like that shit that happened.
But again, that's another thing. Again, the media makes it look like these people are quitting and everything because of Trump. If you look at every other presidency,
Yeah, I know.
all the same stuff happens. A new
It's like
press
the pit bull.
secretary.
It's like when the pit bulls. It's like when the pit bulls strike. They're like, pit bulls are terrible, but it was
Right.
like all media propaganda. But it's
Yeah.
not all propaganda, Tony.
It's not all propaganda, but a lot of it is. And I mean, I'm telling you, and the way that they push these things helps him. It does not hurt him. When they say
I
that he
agree.
said that all Mexicans are rapists, not at all. What he said. I mean, it's crazy if you go back and listen to the actual sound clip of what he said.
But
there.
what I'm saying is,
He literally says some of these people.
he doesn't
are,
make any effort to. He doesn't mind being known that way, and I don't like that.
And but here's the thing though, and I mean, and I'm not just like some like Trump defender or
No,
whatever.
I
You know what
know.
I mean?
I know what you're saying.
I'm sort of in awe of his style and how it works. I will say that is like because if he
100, we are in 100 agreement about that. I just go, wow, this guy is playing us.
one thing he doesn't do. And I think this goes along with the correct yourself thing is he does not apologize.
He's like a comic.
Hasn't for anything.
He's like a comic.
Every week there's another hysteria going on. This is the thing. I see Judd Apatow on Twitter like, this is it, impeachment, right? He's losing his fucking mind.
Yeah.
And then nothing happens.
it's gone.
It
Yeah.
fades away.
I was
And
saying that
I think that the day that Trump apologizes for anything is the
day he loses.
I'm telling you, man.
I feel you.
That
But you know
storm's
what?
a brew.
Yeah, but there's probably a couple of Tony type guys
Oh, yeah.
that's involved in his
You mean
cabinet.
Jared Kushner.
Yeah, he's and he's telling him, he's like, yo, bro, because I want to think that Trump's like, should we do something about that?
Right.
They're saying this stuff about me, and these guys are going, nah, man, this is perfect.
Let it ride. Let it ride.
Ride this
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
You know, you're gonna get more followers this way.
Yeah.
And I think that, but my problem is I think that's what's wrong with it. You know, like I think that there's something un-American about, trying to like circumvent the system to try to like, weigh in to your advantage.
Let me also say this is like,
I'm not even going to get to my questions, but
okay,
it's okay.
we'll get to him.
No, we don't have
but
to.
an interesting
Fuck
thing
'em.
is like everybody says, like he's a racist and this and that. And it's like,
But the people
and he
around him
denies
say
that time and time again.
Right.
Right. And racists are racist. And this is a thing that like, what I hate about this is people, again, it like makes us fucking look bad. Right. Just
Straight white males.
yeah. And because it's like this thing where remember how crazy it was when the police accidentally killed a couple black guys and like all of a sudden everyone's looking at police like they're the scum of the earth and this and that, and it was crazy all across America because it was the
Well, it
media.
wasn't a couple, but I got you.
Right. It was a few.
But it was more than a couple. It was more than two.
Right.
We shouldn't act like it was.
I should have said a few. But the couple were the famous ones, right? There was two like really famous ones. One where he got choked and the one where he got shot.
But then there was another one where the kid with the cop. They had the video of the kid. The cops jump out of the car with their guns and they fire on this little kid who had a fake gun in his hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of them. There's a lot. But I get what you're saying.
Right.
Go on.
Right.
The media doesn't help in these
The
situations.
media doesn't help.
They don't help. They inspire hysteria without any context.
Right.
There's no
They
there's
want
no
the
nuance.
hysteria. And
There's no nuance.
And they don't necessarily cover the things that he says that does. He's not apologizing, but he'll say I don't have a racist bone in my body. They don't take that sound bite and feed it to you. Trump says he doesn't have a racist bone in his body.
Well, one network does.
Well, yeah. One network does.
But so people are living in two different universes, and I don't think that's I agree with Bill Maher. I think all of the Democratic presidential candidates need to go on Fox News.
I'm telling you.
Go on Fox News, talk to the other side.
I saw it happen. I saw Kamala
Harris.
Camilla, is that it? Camilla
Just how black people can't say
Hitchcliff. Camilla. Hey yo, Camilla. Camilla Harris was on Fox and a few days ago, and she was killing it.
yeah.
And it
These
was
people
like,
need to-
wow, look at her.
The other side needs to see. That's all that it is, man.
Absolutely.
But I don't take you as a pro-Trump guy. I just think that you're just taking a overview assessment.
I'm a governmental optimist,
Of what
is
you
what I
see.
would call it.
See-
It's like America will never do anything it's impossible for us to not be the world superpower.
Well, he's making it the feeling around him is putting a little tarnish on little blemish on the idea of what democracy is supposed to be. Listen, what I don't like is like that he inspires, like, racists have been hidden away for a while. You know, some of the true ones,
They
and now,
still are.
I know, no, but now they're coming out of their bunker.
No, they're not.
Yes,
this is the problem. This is what I see. I got off track a few minutes ago.
Now you're back on. Go.
Exactly it. I'm glad that you said that. Is that they're not. They're not. That Charlottesville thing that got blown up, those are people that traveled from all around the country. People think there's like this hub of, oh, these are just the racists in Charlottesville. Look at that. No, that was a gigantic meeting. And they tried that shit again. They had a big one like a couple months ago. There was 7 people there. 7 people. And they cover it the way they shoot these things, and everything is like, you know, shaky cam and you can't see anything. And like, there's 7 people. And that's a nationwide meeting, man. And let me tell you something. From what I understand from back in the day when racism was real, they were a proud people. Racists, you didn't get
straight white males.
No, racists. They were proud to be racist.
But they were mostly straight white males.
Sure, of course. Yeah, I mean, of course. Again, way to help, Eric. Yes, couldn't you agree? The most racist were straight white males.
I'm just saying, like, it's like, you know, if it looks like, you know.
Have you ever heard? All right, forget it. You son of a bitch.
I'm just.
You're almost getting me to say crazy shit out here that's going to end up being the soundbite that ends my career.
No, we're not going to let that happen. We're not gonna let
straight white males are racist. You ever hear a table full of black women talk about white women? We're talking about racism.
Or just anything.
Anything. Yo, fuck that Chinese girl.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, come on.
Anyway, I don't know why I did that.
Why? Why'd you continue that?
But racists it's not a fucking thing. And it's like, it's so rare. And it's like in the middle of the country.
So what are you really talking about
There's
right
probably
now?
3 goddamn racist white people in all of fucking Los Angeles right now. I'm serious.
I don't know about
that. Look,
are
are there people that goof around and make jokes?
No, I think
almost everyone.
I think people still have prejudice, man. I think there's still prejudiced people out there. I think people are tribal. I think people are, you know, they like to be around people that they, you know, look like and
telling you, I think
live in the same circles.
But I also think that the same, you know. Let me put it to you this way.
Doesn't mean it's necessarily racism. I'm just saying that I think that, you know, that tribalism is disguised is mistaken for racism.
I also think that there's something in the air where people want to be accepted by the other people.
Of course.
I think that you see a fucking, a cool black guy somewhere, I always give the head nod. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, who you think's buying rap albums? It's you know,
right.
It's white kids.
Me. I'm buying all of them. So like I got into this argument the other day out on the street. Actually, it was like a few months ago. Actually, it was probably like a year ago. I got in this big argument with this guy. Angry old white guy. I pulled up my car real quick in front of my building to grab something out of my apartment real quick, and I parked real close behind this Prius. Right. Was parked there. And I mean real close, like right on the trunk. I run in, I come out 30 seconds, right? And there's some old guy with shopping bags standing there like, the fuck is this? And I'm literally like, what's up, man? How you doing today? Because I can tell like he's sort of angry. And he goes, man, I'd be better if you didn't pull right up on my ass like that. I go, yeah, bud, it's all good. I just had to grab something out of my apartment real quick. I'm leaving right now. Have a great day, man. So, you know, still pushing the positivity, right? And he's like, oh, I mean, again, I would be having a good day, but I mean, who parks like that? Who do you think you are? Like, I'm like, who do I think I am? I'm just some guy. I had to get something. I'm one more time. I'm giving him one more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At this point, I'm like,
strike 3. He's coming.
Here it is. And he's like, I mean, it's just unbelievable how you park. I go, man, what the fuck are you complaining about? The fuck are you complaining? That's my part. I had to grab something. Now I'm fucking leaving. So goodbye. He's like, get in the car that daddy bought you and get out of here. I go, yeah, daddy bought me this. No, I got this from chasing my dreams and accomplishing things so that I don't end up a bitter old man driving a fucking Prius when I'm older. Carrying my own goddamn grocery bags, being angry in the middle of a beautiful day, right? And now we're going back and forth. Now I'm getting back up.
Now you can't tell who's who.
Right. Right. And like, my point is like, it's just like assholes are assholes. Bad people are bad people.
No matter
and
what
I think
color,
we're
race.
truly, and as silly and simple as that sounds, I think that deep down, I think everybody knows that, unless they believe that the news is really the news. Gotta even stop calling it the news.
No,
man.
it's like specials.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We got to stop using the word special. We got to
Yep.
stop using the word news.
Yep. It's not real.
This is not news.
And that's another thing is like, I think one of the things where Trump sort of went wrong was by him calling it the fake news all the time. He did that. And you know what? It is fake. And because he called it that, it gets this bad, like, he calls it fake news because it affects him negatively. No. You know what I mean? It almost would have been better to just ride it out without him coining that, because then maybe something could be done about it. Honestly, I almost think it's all in cahoots with one another. I think that the people that seem like they're against him are really with him, and the people that seem like they're with him over at Fox are probably actually against him, just waiting it out.
Well, I think that there are people at Fox News, like the actual people that do the news, not the people that look like they're doing the news, because they're also sitting at a desk and there's shit behind them. It looks the same as the news, but these are just people, like, they're doing a podcast basically. They're doing a video like Sean Hannity is like, that's a podcast.
Oh yeah.
And he's just talking,
straight to camera,
propaganda
just
shit.
like Theo Von, just straight to camera, made up shit. No, I'm kidding. Oh shit!
Here we go.
Oh, we called out the Rat King. Here comes 10 angry tweets. You're just mad because you don't have the success. All right.
But I just think that's. I agree with you though, because there are people. If you watch Fox News, there's some of them are really harsh with. They're hard on him. They're like they want the balanced, measured approach. But that's all you're trying to say right now.
And that's the final thing that I'll say is I think Fox News has etched more towards the middle. And the other networks, I mean, MSNBC is psychotic. Dude, you got Rachel Maddow fucking crying almost once a week. I mean, shit's unbelievable. These people are psychotic.
I was off that when here's Trump's taxes. So you're going to show us that he paid his taxes.
Yeah, that he paid millions of dollars. And they're so mad. Everybody, all these people, he's bankrupt. He's never been able to run a business. It's like, at least give the guy, because again, this is what they like to do. It's like, he doesn't even know how to run a business. That thing went bankrupt. I'm like, do you know what bankruptcy means?
I know.
And these people, and it's like, the guy's worth $4 billion. Like, it's like, sorry. You got to start being honest if you want to beat him.
Yeah.
They're trying to beat him with this fucking chaos. Like, he's a racist. He's a blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, it's like, nope, Baltimore's a shithole. Some of the Mexican people that illegally come here do rape people. It does happen. They do sometimes murder people. Right. And he is using that as a thing. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
but people take that and they make it like he thinks.
And by the way, the women that he was talking about at whatever party, when you are famous, guess what? They do probably let you grab them by the pussy. And by the way, that's a fucking recorded conversation with him and some other dude off the record behind the thing that comes out. Like, it's like, and meanwhile, they pretend like, this never would have happened. You know what I mean? It just would have been a better world. Like, Hillary was supposed to win. Really? Hillary? I just watched A&E's 5-part series, The Clinton Affair, that really fucking, I mean, I'm telling you, Eric, I very rarely recommend things because there's so much entertainment nowadays, this and that. You got to go to A&E, go to your Amazon or whatever and buy it as you go or whatever, The Clinton Affair. And the interviews that they have with everybody in Clinton's office, everybody except for fucking Al Gore and Bill Clinton and Hillary themselves. And they go through the entire Clinton years. And it's just so funny to see the hypocrisy. I mean, this dude is getting his fucking dick swallowed in the Oval Office. The hypocrisy of both sides. Like, Hillary's some angel. Like, that's the most House of Cards fucking family I mean, it's good. That shit's
Yeah,
definitely based off of fucking the Clintons. There's no doubt about that shit.
Well,
Anyway.
I don't know, man.
I can't believe how political we got today.
How you got-
I probably just lost half my fan base.
No, you didn't.
No,
Listen,
I'm
like,
kidding.
listen, we just want to, this is what needs to happen in the world. People need to discuss things in a measured approach.
Yep.
Just like think about what we're talking about. We can't take everything that we hear at face value because what do we really know?
Yeah.
We don't know anything.
Right.
And our source of information, we can't trust it. It's like, how are we supposed to know? And all I'm saying is, I wish that he would stop being such a politician about everything. Like, not everything has to be about, getting an upper hand.
Right.
And that's what it feels like. It feels like there's people behind him going like the guy that's going, hey, let's just ride this out because I don't like that. I want him to be like, no, I don't want to ride this out because I don't want people feeling this way.
Right.
I feel like the president, not even just him, I'm just saying the office of the president should take care of the people and how they feel about the presidency, the country, and each other. By the way,
if we were at war with anyone, if there was any drone strikes, anything happening, I think it would be a completely different situation. But you also have to factor in, and nobody mentions this. This is one of the most anti-war we're 4 years in now, dude. This is the most anti-war president we've probably ever had in our lifetime.
You know what's crazy? What if he brokers peace in the Middle East?
Dude, and again, that's another thing is like people.
Like, what if he literally he gets Palestine and Israel and all those people over there like sit down at a table and like, what are they going to say? It would be like,
him dealing with them. I'll tell you what it is because it's the exact same thing that just happened with North Korea. I'll tell you exactly what they would say. They would say, there's no reason why an American president should even be talking with or negotiating with these people. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
If he shakes hands with Putin, they go, look, he's conniving with Putin. He shakes hands with the most evil world leaders. These are guys that would be on the cover of Mad Magazine, right? Kim Jong-un. Oh, he shouldn't be. Really? He shouldn't be? Or is that one of the most groundbreaking things? No U.S. president. Right.
Depends on how you look at it.
I guess so. But like, there's nothing wrong with getting these people on his side, whether he uses them or abuses them or discards them or whatever.
That famous thing from The Godfather,
Keep your enemies close.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
You're damn motherfucking right. And you gotta give the guy some credit for that. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing is like everybody just wants to bash him. But I'm saying if you want to beat him, you have to start. People have to start being honest. Like I was watching. Let's end this fucking shit. You kidding me? But I was watching these Democratic debates. You know what I mean? Because my buddy was on them.
This is you love this because this is now you don't have to be a host. You're just sitting here and you're getting all this stuff out. I mean, you know what? This is gonna be part 1. Tony Hinchcliffe part 1. Okay.
What have we done?
I'm not even gonna get to the questions. You know what I mean? Thanks for all your questions and but we've been talking and talking and talking.
Perfect.
I gotta get this guy out of here. I'll have all Tony's information. A lot of you probably already know because the podcast world is small. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, man. You're one of my favorite people. You're one of my favorite guests on Kill Tony.
I love
You've always
doing
been
Kill
a big
Tony.
brother to me. You are truly, absolutely hilarious. I look up to you.
Me.
You're a fucking great actor. You're a good-looking guy.
Stop it.
You're just a good human. You're a real comedian.
I appreciate you, man, and I do want to make it a regular thing. We did get like a lot of deep here, and I hope people when you listen to this, it's like we
talk about some serious subjects.
No, but I'm
save your tweets and your hate Instagrams. I already know. Save your fucking thumb energy. All right, I know you hate me. I know you hate my voice. Go fucking do something productive with your day. I don't need to hear it. I already know. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, there we go. I agree.
Love only.
Yeah,
positivity only. I mean,
nuance.
It's
guys.
not easy. No, there's a reason why no one else is talking about the good sides of Trump and the lack of straight white males in the media. It's because they don't want to talk about it. You got to give me credit for at least having the ballsies.
You are shaking that subject hand like Kim Jong.
Because I feel comfortable talking about it with you too.
It's
it's a testament to you.
Yeah, no, I get it. No,
You know
but
what
what
I
I'm
mean?
saying is like I don't agree with everything that you're saying.
Right.
But it's like, but you should be allowed to say it. We should be allowed to have an honest
Good dialogue.
discussion. Yeah,
Great
dialogue about
dialogue.
it. That's what's needed is have a dialogue.
Yep.
Go into the nuance, have a measured approach, and if we don't agree in the end, at least we know where each other stands.
Yeah.
You know, and I agree with you. If you guys out there, if you want to beat Trump, if that's your thing, if that's your goal, you better get out there and understand that motherfucker.
Right.
They're not
You
taking
have
the time to
know
understand. Know your
your
enemy.
opponent,
Yes,
man.
know your enemy.
It's crazy.
I know. Well, we're going to end on that. Thanks once again for the very funny and insightful Tony Hinchcliffe for coming on the podcast. Thanks for listening to Riffin with Griffin, and I'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.